What if the key to unlocking AI's full potential isn't learning to code, but learning to communicate? Today we're diving into something that's changing the game for creators, entrepreneurs, and basically anyone who has an idea but doesn't know how to code. And we're talking about vibe coding. I've spent hundreds of hours working with tools like Biela, Lovable, V0, Manos, and I've discovered something fascinating. The difference between getting amazing results and total frustrations isn't technical knowledge, it's how you communicate with the AI. In the next 20 minutes or so, I'm going to show you how to write efficient prompts, whether you want to build a website, create an app, or design a tool to solve a specific problem. You'll learn the exact techniques that separate AI masters from the rest. And stick around until the end because I'll reveal one mindset shift that makes everything click. And it's probably not what you think. So what exactly is vibe coding? Put simply, it's using AI to turn your ideas into working software without writing traditional code. Instead of learning programming languages and frameworks, you communicate with AI tools using natural language, basically just talking to them. You describe what you want and the AI generates the actual code. Let me show you a quick example. Here is Biela, one of the most popular vibe coding tools right now. Watch what happens when I type create a simple landing page for a coffee subscription service with a sign-up form. In seconds it's built a complete landing page with no coding required. And it's not just Biela. Tools like Lovable, V0 and Manos along with many others are all part of this revolution. Each has its strengths, but they all work on the same principles. You provide the vision through prompts and they handle the technical execution. Now, why does this matter? Because for the first time in history, having an idea is enough. You don't need to spend months learning to code or thousands of dollars hiring developers. The barrier between imagination and creation is dissolving. People are building portfolio websites, e-commerce stores, productivity tools, games, even entire startups, just by describing what they want. But here's the problem. Most people are doing it wrong. They type a few vague words, get disappointing results, and conclude that the technology isn't ready or that they're just not AI people. And that's a huge mistake, because the difference between success and failure with these AI tools isn't the AI, it's how you communicate with it. Let me show you what I mean. Here are some real examples of prompts people use when they first try vibe coding. Make me a cool website. Create an app that helps with productivity. Build something for my business. Let's look at what happens when you use a vague prompt like make me a cool website in a tool like Biela. You get something generic with placeholder text and stock images. It's technically a website indeed, but it's not useful for anything specific. Now watch what happens when I use a more efficient prompt. Create a minimalist portfolio website for a photographer with a black and white color scheme, a gallery section that displays images in a masonry layout, an about page with a brief bio, and a contact form that collects name, email, and project details. The difference is night and day. We get a purposeful design that actually serves a specific need. This isn't the AI getting smarter between attempts. It's the same AI both times. The only thing that actually changed was how I communicated my request. Think of it this way. AI tools are like extremely literal genies. They'll give you exactly what you ask for, no more, no less. The problem is that most of us aren't used to expressing our ideas with the precision these tools require. And this matters because the stakes are real. When you use vague prompts, you waste time going back and forth with endless revisions, you miss opportunities to create things that could actually help you or your business, and you get frustrated and might give up on tools that could be game-changing for you. And worst of all, you might conclude that you're just not technical enough, when that's not the issue at all. But here's the good news. Efficient prompt writing is a skill anyone can learn. It doesn't require technical knowledge, just a structured approach to communication. So let's break down the principles that make prompts work and transform how you use these AI tools forever. There are 4 core principles that will dramatically improve your results with vibe coding. I call these the Sisyph framework. Not that Sisyph. Sisyph stands for clarity, context, iteration, and feedback. Let's go through each one with practical examples. The first principle is clarity and specificity. AI can't read your mind. It can only work with what you tell it. Instead of saying, make me a website for my business, try something like, create a responsive website for my handmade soap business with an e-commerce section featuring product images and descriptions, and an about page explaining our natural ingredients and the contact form. See how much information the AI has to work with? You're not just saying what you want, you're painting a clear picture. The specific prompt gives you something tailored to selling soap with appropriate section and features. Here's a pro tip. Use specific adjectives for design and functionality. Words like minimalist, playful, corporate, or vintage give the AI style guidance. Terms like responsive, accessible, or single page provide technical direction. And don't worry about using technical terms if you don't know them. Plain language works great. Just be specific about what you want the end results to do. The second principle is providing context and constraints. This is about setting the scene and establishing the boundaries. Context is telling the AI about the situation, users, or purpose. Constraints are limits that keep the AI focused. Here's an example. Instead of saying, build me a task management app, try this. Create a simple task management app for a college student who needs to track assignments across 5 different classes. The app should work offline, use a dark color scheme to reduce eye strain during late night study sessions, and send reminder notifications. It should not require user accounts or have social features. See what I did there? I provided context about the user, the college student, and their needs, tracking assignments across classes. I also added constraints. It needs to work offline, use dark mode, and not have certain features. The result is much more targeted and useful because the AI understands both what to include and what to exclude. Think of constraints as guardrails that keep the AI from going off in unwanted directions. They're just as important as what you do want. The third principle is iterative development, breaking down complex requests into smaller steps. One of the biggest mistakes beginners make is trying to get everything in one giant prompt. Even the most advanced AI tools struggle with this approach. Instead, think of vibe coding as more like a conversation. Start with the foundation, then build on it step by step. For example, if you're building a recipe website, you have step 1, create a homepage for a recipe website with a clean modern design and a search bar. Once that's done and you like the direction, you can go to step 2. Now add a featured recipe section below the search bar that displays free recipe cards with images, titles, and cooking time. And then go to step 3. Add a category navigation menu at the top with options for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and desserts. Each step builds on the previous one, allowing you to guide the development process just like you would with a human developer. The end result is much more cohesive and exactly what you wanted because you were involved in shaping it at each stage. The fourth principle is feedback and refinement, guiding the AI when it doesn't get things quite right. Here's a secret. Even the best prompts rarely produce perfect results on the first try. That's not failure, it's basically part of the process. The key is providing specific feedback rather than starting over. For instance, if the AI creates a landing page but the color scheme isn't quite right, don't scrap everything. Instead say, I like the layout and content, but please change the color scheme to use more earth tones, specifically dark green for headers and the cream background for better readability. This preserves the good parts while fixing just what needs improvement. You can also ask the AI to explain its choices, which often reveals misunderstandings you can correct. Try prompts like, can you explain why you chose this navigation structure? Or what was your thinking behind the mobile layout? These 4 principles, clarity, context, iteration, and feedback, Form the foundation of efficient prompt writing, master them, and you'll get dramatically better results from any vibe coding tool. But there are also some common mistakes you'll want to avoid. Let's talk about those next. Even with the best principles in mind, there are some pitfalls that can trip you up. Let's go through the 5 most common mistakes people make when vibe coding. Mistake number 1 is being too vague. We've already touched on this, but it's worth emphasizing vague prompts lead to random results. I personally once asked an AI to make something cool and got a neon-colored trading platform for cats. It's not exactly what I had in mind. Always specify what you're building, who is it for, and what it should do. Don't make the AI guess. Mistake number 2 is trying to do everything at once. The second mistake is trying to cram an entire project into one prompt. I've seen people writing prompts that are literally pages long, describing every tiny detail of their dream application. The thing is that this overwhelms the AI and usually results in it forgetting half of what you asked for, or creating something bloated and buggy. Remember the iterative approach we discussed. Start small, then build up feature by feature. Third mistake is forgetting to explain the why behind your request. AI doesn't understand your business, your users, or your goals unless you tell it. Without this context, it makes assumptions that might not align with what you need. Instead of create a form that collects user information, try create a job application form for a small construction company that needs to collect applicant experience, certifications, and availability for different shifts. This second version gives the AI a clear understanding of the purpose, which shapes every design and functionality decision. The fourth mistake is treating vibe coding as a one-shot process. Many people try a single prompt, get a result that's not quite right, and conclude that the technology doesn't work. But vibe coding is a conversation. Professional AI users often go through dozens of prompt iterations to get exactly what they want. And I do that all the time too. I don't always get what I want or need from a single prompt, but I keep communicating with the AI until I get the result that I need. Each attempt gets you closer to your vision. Don't expect perfection immediately. Expect progress. The final common mistake is thinking that you need to sound technical to get good results. Some people fill their prompts with programming terms they don't fully understand, thinking it will impress the AI. But here's the thing, modern AI tools are designed to understand plain language. Using jargon you're not comfortable with often leads to miscommunication. It's much better to be clear in everyday language than confused with technical terms. Avoiding these 5 mistakes, being vague, overloading prompts, keeping context, giving up too soon, and using unnecessary jargon will save you hours of frustration. Now, let's put everything we've learned into practice with a real-world example. It's time to see these principles in action. I'm going to build a simple project using efficient prompts, and you'll see exactly how the process works. For this demonstration, I'll use again Biela.dev, but these techniques work with any vibe coding tool. Now let's create something practical. How about a personal budget tracker? This is something many people could use, including me, and it has enough complexity to show the power of good prompting. The first prompt that I wrote is this: create a personal budget tracking web app with a clean, minimal design. It should have a dashboard that shows monthly income, expenses, and savings. Use a soothing color palette with blue as the primary color, and I gave it the color code, but you don't need if you don't want to. And light gray backgrounds. The app should be responsive and work well on both desktop and mobile devices. And this is the result that it returned. In this case, it already returned the form for the transactions, and we can already see recent transactions, monthly income, monthly expenses, and savings. Notice how I specified not just what I want, a budget tracker, but also the design style, key features, and even a specific color. This gives the AI a clear direction. This is not bad for a first attempt. We have a basic structure with the dashboard and the color scheme I requested, but it needs more functionality. Let's add some core features. Now I can say this improve the existing transaction form by adding more useful fields, a date picker, a category dropdown, and I gave it the options, and keep the existing description, amount, and income expenses toggle after submission. Each transaction should appear in the recent transaction list, and the dashboard totals should update automatically. Keep the existing design clean and user-friendly since it's meant for personal use. Now let's see what will happen now. See how I'm building on what's already there? I'm also providing context. It's for personal use, which helps the AI understand the appropriate complexity level. Great, now I have a way to enter transactions, but I noticed that the list actually could use some improvement. And for this I will say the transaction list looks good because I don't want it to scrap it, but please make these improvements. Add the ability to filter transactions by category and or date range, include a search box to find specific transactions, show income in green and expenses in red for better visual distinction, and the number 4, add a delete button for each transaction because right now I don't have any option for that. So let's do this. I'm giving specific feedback about what I like and what needs improvement rather than starting over. This is much better. Now let's add one more feature to make this really useful. And here's the final prompt. Add a reports section that visualizes spending patterns, including a pie chart showing expenses by category for the current month and a line graph showing income versus expenses over the past 5 months. Actually, let's make it 6 months. Make sure the charts are responsive and have a consistent style with the rest of the app. Add some data to demonstrate how the charts work. And let's do this now. Notice how I'm being specific about the type of visualization I want and how they should behave. And there you have it. In just 4 prompts, we've created a functional budget tracking application with data entry, filtering, search, and visualization. We have the transaction history here, the add transaction here, and the reports area right here. And everything is working just fine, even the filtering system. Let's review what made this successful. We started with a clear foundation that specified both function and design. We added features iteratively rather than all at once. We provided context about the intended use, we gave specific feedback for refinements, and we used plain language while still being precise. This same approach works whether you're building a simple tool like this or something much more complex. The key is breaking it down into manageable steps and communicating clearly at each stage. Now that you've seen the basics in action, let's explore some advanced techniques that can take your vibe coding to the next level. One powerful technique is to establish a role or persona for your AI to adopt. For example, you are an experienced UX designer who specializes in creating intuitive interfaces for elderly users. Design a medication reminder app that is extremely easy to use, with large, high-contrast colors and minimal steps to set reminders. Giving the AI a specific role, you tap into its training on best practices for that specialty. It's like having an expert consultant guiding the development. The difference can be dramatic. The role-play version incorporates accessibility features and simplified workflows that are perfect for the target audience. Another advanced technique is called meta-prompting. It's basically asking the AI to help you write better prompts. This might sound like Inception, but it's incredibly effective. The AI often knows what information it needs better than we do. Try something like, I want to create a recipe sharing platform. Help me write a detailed prompt that covers all the necessary features and design elements. Ask me questions if you need more information. The AI will ask about user roles, key features, monetization plans, and other aspects you might not have considered. Your answers help it create a comprehensive prompt. This collaborative approach often produces better results than trying to think of everything yourself. As you gain experience, you'll find certain prompt structures work particularly well. Create templates for these to save time and ensure consistency. For example, a website template might include sections for purpose and target audience, key pages and features, design style and references, technical requirements, and content guidelines. You just fill in the specifics for each project and you have a comprehensive prompt ready to go. This can cut your prompt writing time in half while improving results. Finally, start building a library of successful prompts and their results. When you create something you're happy with, save both the prompt and the screenshot of the result. Categorize them by project type or tool used. This gives you a growing resource of proven approaches you can adapt for new projects. It's like having your own cookbook of recipes that work. Over time, you'll develop a sense for which prompting strategies work best for different situations. These advanced techniques, role-playing, meta-prompting, templates, and building a library, can dramatically improve your results and efficiency. Now, let's wrap everything up and answer the question we started with. We began this video by asking what if the key to unlocking AI's full potential isn't learning to code, but learning to communicate. We've explored the principles of efficient prompt writing, clarity, context, iteration, and feedback, the CSIF. We've seen how to avoid common mistakes and apply advanced techniques. And now, for the answer to our question, the difference between struggling with AI and thriving with it comes down to one thing: learning to speak its language through effective prompts. Master this skill and you'll be able to create anything you can imagine, no coding required. This is the new digital literacy. As AI tools become more powerful and accessible, the ability to communicate clearly with them becomes increasingly valuable, not just for building software, but for any creative and analytical task. So here's my challenge to you. Take what you've learned today and try it out. Pick one of the tools we mentioned, Biela.Lovable V0 or whatever, and build something simple using the principles we discussed. Share your results in the comments below. What did you build? Which principles made the biggest difference? I'd love to see what you create. If you found this helpful, give the video a like, subscribe to Hustle AI Lab for more practical AI skills, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next tutorial. Until next time, happy prompting! And remember, in the age of AI, communication is your superpower.